guys. So I'm going to give you what I got from this court yesterday versus what the documents said. So the documents made it sound like there was a bunch of shit that was not turned over and that they barely had anything, and that's not the case. They do have stuff. They have worked together. They are not working against each other. Anne herself does not believe there's any wrongdoing or any hiding going on, and not saying that they have it and not turning it over. She believes they don't have it, and that when they do get it, they will turn it over. But she's asking for a time frame now. She wants 3 officers' training records, which are not in the Rule 16. She wants some FBI cast, and examine, about the examinators and stuff with the cell phone and the records, putting Bryan in the spot that he was in at the time that he was in. She wants all of that. She is entitled to that. The state said they're going to give it to her. They just don't have it yet. It's in its last stages. These were said in documents before this court date. So the court to me was like, what the fuck? It was like a waste of time, but that's my personal opinion. Basically, she starts saying why she needs them, how it's going to help her to, investigate them and make a defense for her client. She basically says that, these cell phone records and stuff were used highly in the arrest records and, the search warrants and things like that, and that it's highly listed in the probable cause, and she is correct about that. They are going to give that over to her. The judge asked the state when, because the state said, we said we were going to give this stuff, we just don't have it yet. So as soon as we get it, sooner than later, he said, what's sooner than later, and she's like, well, I don't know, a couple of weeks. He's like, all right, let's say July 14th, unless something happens, okay, or that the FBI can't get it to them. So we got to wait for that, from the FBI, and then the state's going to turn it over to the defense. Now, this is discovery, guys, and you're not, certain things are not required, and certain things are exactly what it says, discovery, to discover what you are going to use and take to trial. So not everything on the state side or the defense side in this discoveries are going to be used at trial. Trial is, you have to have factual, reliable evidence to take to trial. So during discovery, that is their job, to discover what type of evidence, what kind of reports, things were done, who did what, who said what. So then she's requesting, in the documents, it wasn't said in court, so I'm not sure if she got it. It might be part of where the judge says that they have came to agreements on certain things and that they were only addressing this, and this. So basically she wants in the compel, I think it's the second one, don't quote me, but in one of the compel for discovery, she states that there is a interrogation, between Bryan Kohberger and Moscow Police Department's Detective Officer Payne, and she wants that. The state does point out in their argument back that the training records are not in the scope, like inside of the scope. It's outside. It's not in the Rule 16. She states that those officers are not going to be, used in trial, and the witnesses that the officers spoke to is not going to be used in trial. And I'm taking anything the officers did are not going to be used in trial, because that's what basically the state says. But then Anne comes back with, well, regardless if you're going to, I may subpoena this officer. So I'm not sure how she can subpoena some officers on some information she doesn't have. And especially if the state says, I'm not using this, I've already discovered it and I'm not using it in trial. So I guess the judge can decide on that. That's a fuckery to me. I don't understand. Just like, the judge can't demand them to give files and stuff they don't have, right? All he can do is demand a time limit. And if you don't do it in a certain time limit, then I guess you don't use that in trial. So basically, she wants 3 officers training, because one of them did a lot, was involved with the search with the white Hyundai Elantra, was involved with interviews, was involved signing a lab, was involved in searching. The other one, did some interviews too with certain witnesses, she claims, at 1122 King Road on the 13th, and the state claims that it's a different set of witnesses and they are not going to be using them. So I don't know how the judge is going to figure that out, but I'm sure he will come to some type of written agreement on that. So basically, they're not hiding the entirety of the case like the documents stated. It looks like she's gotten a lot. Before they handed over, like, 1,900 pages and files or whatever, and 965 photos and whatever, and now in court yesterday they say they got 13,000 photos and 13,000 reports and pages and 10,000 tips and 51 terabytes. I mean, that is a lot of stuff, and everybody's like, it's been 8 months. What the fuck have they been doing? I mean, yeah, what the fuck has both been doing? I haven't seen the defense hand over barely any discovery, and they also have a rule on what they need to hand over on objects, tangible reports, and the first response back to the state was no papers, documents, tangibles, objects in Bryan Kohberger's possession at this time. And the next one was like, we need to prepare, we need time for this, this, and this, and because there's so much evidence. And then right after that, they're like, compel, let's pause, let's freaking motion. It's a hot mess. This is their tactics. This is what they're supposed to do. They want certain stuff to discover it, to see if it has any whatever. Either she wants to know if somebody is in, some type of impeachment, like they didn't go to class and training and hours for what they were doing in this investigation, or she wants to make sure if they are trained and all of that and are who they say they are, that they properly did the investigation. So I get why she wants certain things, but certain things don't fall under the rule that she is asking under. So we shall see what the judge says. I do see lots of documents coming in the next few days, and I hope everybody realizes that this is now a DP possible case, and that changes the whole ball game. So do I think we're going to have a trial on October 2nd? No, because both state and defense said yesterday if this makes it to trial. So either some type of deal, maybe they put the DP out there so that the defense can come back and say, well, my client pleads guilty, but he wants life with the possibility of parole. I don't know. But it's not going to happen on October 2nd. I will be very shocked, because now we need a whole new jury that is for the DP, because you cannot have one person that's not for the DP on the jury pool in regards to the new way to go about this. So just wanted to drop that to you guys. That's what I feel. That's what I heard. It looks like they are working together, the state and FBI and Idaho State Police and Washington's departments, and all the courts are not in cahoots and hiding stuff and, covering up that there's a whole ass other person. I truly, really believe that beyond a reasonable doubt will be shown in trial if this is their guy. And I truly also believe that not only did all of these officers, like the hundreds that were mentioned yesterday of being involved in this, as well as the FBI, as well as the SWAT, as well as all of the other detectives and investigators and whatever that has to come was involved, they believe they had probable cause that Bryan Kohberger is their suspect. And after they took that, the prosecution also believes, based off of the investigation from police, that Bryan Kohberger is their suspect. And then they took it to a judge, Judge Megan, who also signed on those documents, obviously agreeing that there was probable cause to believe Bryan Kohberger was the suspect and committed these crimes. And then we moved to another judge who also signed on this, because they believed that this was probable cause and enough to move forward and to keep going, as well as the jury and the people that signed off on all of that. So there's definitely enough probable cause evidence for where he is right now, or he would not be sitting there. So I highly, highly doubt that they have fucked this case up that bad, guys. And we are really looking at Christopher Robbins being the actual suspect. Okay? So that's just my thoughts and my opinions, and I'm going off what I've read in black and white in the documents and what I heard out of both sides of the defense and the state's mouth yesterday. So there you go. I got it out off my chest. It was bothering me. There's been so many documents. I've not been able to make a video here on YouTube to explain everything. They've been very short and with like little captions. So there's my opinion, guys, because I have been asked for some on here, and as well as my bigger follower on TikTok where I do a majority of my updates. So if you like this video and you like the information that I'm giving or how I'm explaining it, check me out over there on TikTok and check me out here and follow and like. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and until next time.